I don't know why, but I feel like anything with the word ultimate in the title just should be introduced with a trumpet noise, so that's why that just happened. But welcome to Morgan's Ultimate Guide to a More Sustainable Holiday Season. If you happen to be a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back, especially because I live with the recurring thought that my personality can be a little bit off-putting. So when people come back, that says that they don't think that, and that is great for my mental health. If you're a new viewer and you're like, who the F is Morgan and why is she qualified to be giving me an ultimate guide to having a more sustainable holiday season? Well, then first of all, I'm Morgan. It'd be weird if I wasn't. I'm 28, I live in Chicago, and I have been a content creator focused on sharing sustainable living, slow fashion tips for almost 4 years now. So this pillow is bothering me right here, so we're gonna put it next to Goose. Okay, that's better. A little bit more about me. I also studied fashion in college. That's what my background is in, and I focused specifically on sustainability within the fashion industry, and that ballooned into a larger interest in environmentalism in general and what we can be doing as individuals to participate in the climate movement and lower our carbon footprint. So all of that to say that I've been attempting to have a more sustainable holiday season for the past 6-ish years, and I just want to share what I've tried and what I've learned. So let's get into it. Okay, so we are going to be covering 5 categories: decorations, food, holiday outfits, gift wrapping, and gift giving. And one small but important caveat before we get into this: you in no way, shape, or form need to utilize all of the tips that I'm about to share. Some of them may not work for you. They may not work for your lifestyle. They may not work for your family, for your budget, for the amount of time that you have. That's okay. Take what works for you, leave what doesn't, and we can all just be happy knowing that we are trying our best to be good to the earth this holiday season. Sound good? All right, cool. First category, decorations. So the golden rule when it comes to decorations and pretty much everything when it comes to sustainability is use what you already have. I feel like on TikTok and social media in general, there's an overall push to buy new things every year, to reinvent your holiday style every year. I don't think that's necessary. I think part of the magic of Christmas is utilizing things that have been in your family or things that you've had for years. But recently, I think there's been a push to just make it very aesthetic. And I know everyone has their own opinion on what looks good and what looks nice, but before you buy new things every year, I would just highly encourage you to think about if those are things that you actually need, or if maybe you're just being influenced by the internet to think that you need them. Just a little self-reflection. But anyways, let's talk about one of the most iconic decorations for the holiday season, and that is the Christmas tree. And of course, the age-old debate is what's better for the environment, a real tree or a fake tree. Pros to a fake tree: you can use it over and over again. That's pretty much the only pro. Cons: it's probably made of plastic. Plastic will take thousands of years to biodegrade once that tree goes into the landfill. Also, the resources needed to produce plastic contribute heavily to climate change. And then most fake trees are produced overseas, probably in China, and so the emissions associated with transporting that to where you are in another country is likely going to be a lot higher than the transportation emissions cost, yes, associated with getting a real tree to you, which likely just involves driving a few miles down the road, picking one up, and bringing it home. Pros, we kind of just covered: less plastic involved, probably lower transportation emissions. You're supporting your local economy if you're going to a local Christmas tree farm. And then let's just be honest, they smell nice. Not really sustainability related, but still important. And then cons to a real tree: you have to get a new one every single year. And if it's not disposed of properly, it can release methane into the atmosphere, which is a greenhouse gas that is even more potent than carbon dioxide. So what do you do? Well, it depends, like most things with sustainability. If you already have a fake tree, keep using the fake tree for as long as you possibly can. Some reports say you should use it at least 5 to 10 years for it to have less of an environmental impact than a real tree. Other reports say at least 20 years. So that's a really wide range. So I can't tell you exactly how long you should use it, but just as long as possible. And if you have no tree yet, but you want a fake tree, try to find it secondhand. Now, if you're team real tree, the best thing you can do is make sure that you are responsibly disposing of it at the end of its life. So I would do a Google search to see if there is a Christmas tree compost program in your area or a mulching program. A lot of cities just automatically, if your tree is on the side of the road, they'll pick it up and it'll go into a composting program, but that's not the case everywhere. So just do a little bit of research in your area and make sure it's going somewhere where it can be composted or mulched. Now, there is a third option option that I've read from many sources may be considered the best option, and that is renting a Christmas tree, a living Christmas tree. Well, obviously, because you don't want it to be dead, but technically the Christmas trees we have are dead because they're chopped. Anyways, renting a living Christmas tree involves getting the tree, goes in your home for the holiday season, and then when that time is over, the tree will then go back to the farm that it came from to continue growing and to be used again the following year. So that's nice because the tree is getting used multiple times. It's not going into the landfill right away. It's not even going to composting right away. So it may be worth looking into to see if there is a tree rental program in your area. Another popular decoration, lights. We all love sparkly, twinkly Christmas lights, but they use up a lot of energy. So obviously make sure that you're turning them off when you're not utilizing them. Another thing you can do, make sure you're using LED lights. According to the Clean Air Partnership, these use 95% less energy than your traditional lights. So very easy way to have an impact. And then finally, if you have some lights that no longer work, do not just throw them in the recycling bin. They will not get recycled. In fact, they'll probably just break and cut some poor recycling worker's hand, even though they probably wear gloves. It's probably not safe. So instead of doing that, try to find a recycling drop-off point near you. A lot of hardware stores like Lowe's and Home Depot will take back your non-working Christmas lights and they will properly recycle them so that they can be turned into something new or reused. Now that I'm thinking about it, I actually don't know what they turn them into, but they do something with them, so something to consider. All right, and then other household decor. If you do find yourself wanting to get some new things, then there's a few ways you can go about it in a way that doesn't necessarily involve going to Target or Home Goods and buying whatever they say is trendy this year. First option is to thrift. Thrift stores usually have a very wide selection of holiday decorations that you can pick from, and it'll be a lot lighter on your wallet and the environment if you choose to buy some decorations secondhand. Second option is to ask friends or family members or your local Buy Nothing group if anyone has decorations that they no longer want or use. We have a few decorations from my boyfriend's grandmother. Those decorations are like 40 to 50 years old and they still work great. My parents don't really decorate for Christmas anymore, which I don't think I'll ever reach a point where I don't put a Christmas tree up around Christmas, but to each their own. But so a lot of their decorations don't get used anymore, so I may inherit those over the next couple of years if they decide that they're not going to decorate as much in the future. Third option is to get crafty. If you've been following along with me the past couple of weeks, you know that I've kicked off something that I'm calling Crafty Christmas, where we craft decorations instead of buying them new. So I've been making a lot of natural low-waste decorations like orange garland. You can make popcorn garland. I've seen people make gingerbread house garland out of old cardboard boxes and paint with white marker on them. I think that's really cute. I made some air dry clay ornaments. I did a whole video on all my tutorials if you want to check that out, but I thought the ornaments turned out so cute and I think that'd be so fun to do if you have little kids. This year I also put up some old childhood Christmas photos in my house as a little bit of extra decoration, and I think it makes it feel really cozy and nostalgic, and that's exactly how I want to feel around Christmas time. So there's a ton of different holiday crafts that you can do, and if you have time to do one or two of them this year, I'd really recommend it because it's very fun and almost meditative, and you can do it with friends, you can do it alone, you can do it with family, and I just think it's a slower way to enjoy holiday decorating, and you can create some decorations that you can reuse for years to come. And if you're using, natural decorations, at least you can compost those. It's not plastic going into the landfill. All right, the next topic we're chatting about is food, and that is why we are in the kitchen, also because it's lunchtime and I'm hungry and I need to eat. So it really worked out quite well. But anyways, Americans waste about 1/3 of the food that we buy. And it's estimated that around the holidays, we produce 25% more trash. So one can surmise that more food is going in the trash as well. And we don't want food going into the trash because food that is landfilled releases methane when it breaks down. And methane, as I think I already mentioned, is an extremely powerful greenhouse gas. We don't want that in the air. So how can we prevent that from happening? We can start by determining the right amount of food to make. A tool that's really useful for this is called the guest-tomator, because it helps you figure out how much food to serve depending on how many guests you have. It's a good pun. It can be found on savethefood.com, and it'll ask you questions about how many people you're making food for, how much they tend to eat, and then it'll tell you about how much you should make. And it'll also take into account if you want leftovers, like if you love to make a sandwich with everything you ate the day before on it, you can tell it that, and it'll account for it. Another tip is to compost your food scraps. This keeps your food scraps out of the landfill and gives it the right conditions to properly break down and become a nutrient-rich soil that can then be used to grow more food. food. So I'll link some videos or tutorials down below of how to create your own compost pile if you're feeling ambitious. But another way that you can take advantage of composting is through compost services. So this is what I do. I utilize a service that gives me a bin. I collect all my food scraps and other organic waste in that bin, and they pick it up once a month, and then they give me a new bin, and they handle the whole composting process. So that works really well for me because I live in an apartment. I don't have a lot of room for a compost pile. All right, and then 2 tips not directly tied to food waste, but food in general. One is to make meatless meals when you can. I think it's pretty widely known at this point that eating plant-based is better for the environment, but I don't think you have to be 100% plant-based to take part in that movement. According to an article I read in Scientific American, if every person in the US reduced their meat consumption by 25%, it would reduce global greenhouse gas emissions by 1%, which I realize doesn't sound like a lot, but if you consider the fact that greenhouse gas emissions in 2022 were 53.8 billion tons, and therefore 1% of that is several hundred million tons, then that's actually a pretty significant amount. So if you can avoid making a couple of meat-based meals this holiday season, it'd be a really easy way to lower your carbon footprint. And then my final food related tip. If you're somebody who, apparently we're doing this down here because this is where I put the camera for some reason. If you're somebody who likes to gift food for the holidays, instead of putting it on a plate and putting like cling wrap over it, try thrifting a holiday tin or container to put it in instead. And that way that person can reuse that container for their own joy, or they can gift it to somebody else when they make food to give to someone. So that's just a small thing, but I think it's a good tip. And also, if you're someone who likes to use beeswax wrap, that actually isn't quite as environmentally friendly as we're led to believe, because you have to hand wash it, and the water used to repeatedly hand wash it actually leads to it having a higher environmental footprint than just like a single-use baggie. So obviously if you have beeswax wrap, use it until you can't use it anymore, but trying to focus on containers that can be washed in the dishwasher will probably be a better option in the long run. All right, and now we're gonna get out of this position because it is ruining my back. All right, next topic is holiday outfits. My closet probably would have been the appropriate place to go for this little segment, but my closet is a disaster. Sometimes I cry when I look at it. So I thought it would just be better if we sat here with Goose, because I don't cry when I look at Goose. I do sometimes, because I think about the fact that he'll die before I do, probably, knock on wood. This is taking a different turn. Enjoy Goose. So anyways, the US throws away up to 11.3 million tons of textile waste every year, and 85% of textile waste is landfilled. So even the clothes that you are donating, that you're giving to recycling programs, a lot of that ends up in the trash because it either doesn't get resold or it actually can't be recycled because it's actually very hard to recycle clothing. If you want a whole video on like clothing donation, clothing recycling, all that stuff, let me know, because it's convoluted. But my point is, we buy a shit ton of clothing and we get rid of a shit ton of clothing. But I also get that you want to wear some cute outfits for the holidays. So here are my tips for doing that a little more sustainably. 1, use what you have. I know that doesn't sound exciting, but I highly encourage you to go into your closet and just have a little dress up hour where you just try things on, experiment with wearing them different ways, with different things, with different shoes, with different belts, with different accessories. Go on Pinterest, look up styling inspiration, just see if you can find some new, fun, exciting ways to style the things you already have, because I think you'll be surprised at what you find. Second tip, this makes me feel like I'm taking a MySpace photo in 2007, but second tip, rent clothing. If you have a special event around the holidays where you want to wear something that's a little more special, it feels a little more new, try rental. Personally, I've used Newly. It is a monthly subscription that you can pause whenever you want. But it's great for the holidays because you can rent 6 pieces, keep the clothing for a month, and then you send it back when you're done with it for somebody else to use and wear. And it just ends up being, in my opinion, a much better option than going out and buying something special for a special occasion, only wearing it once, and then it never seeing the light of day again. Another option is to borrow clothing. I've done this a lot with my sister, with my friends. We swap clothing all the time, especially for special events. So it could be worth asking around your friend group, around your community, if anybody has something that you can borrow. I know that sometimes there's size limitations or just timing limitations, but just something to consider. And then final tip, I think this is tip number 4 under clothing. Anyways, final tip is to thrift, which should come as no surprise since we all know I love thrifting. But truly, if you feel like you want to buy something new, try to find it secondhand first. If you're new to thrifting, I do have a whole video on my tips for beginner thrifters, specifically within the online space. You want to start getting into Depop and Poshmark and all that kind of stuff, definitely check check that out because I think it can be a really good source for finding some great clothes for the holidays that are also at a much more affordable price and sometimes much higher quality, because the quality of clothing lately has gone down significantly, and that is a topic for an entirely other video. But yeah, thrifting. All right, moving on to gift wrapping. So 2.3 million pounds of wrapping paper ends up in the landfill each year. And honestly, it's something I think we can easily avoid. How, you ask? I would love to tell you. One, with reusable bags. You can often find gift bags at the thrift store. You can reuse them several times. You can put some tissue paper in to make it a little more fun, to have things to throw around. I get it. People want excitement when they're opening a gift, but that doesn't mean that it has to involve wrapping paper. So just really consider the gift bag. I think it's a great thing that we don't take advantage of enough. Another option, reusable gift wrap, aka fabric wrap. There's a bunch of videos on how you can wrap gifts using fabric. I'll link some down below. I personally have wrapped gifts with a bed sheet before, so if you have a really big gift, that could be something to think about. Is it the prettiest thing in the world always? No. But does it get the job done? Yes. Can I use it again? Yes. Is it free considering I already have an old bed sheet? Yes. So fabric wrapping, something to put into the Google machine. And then DIY gift wrap is also another great option. Old shipping paper, brown paper bags, you can just take that, you can use it as gift wrap, you can draw on it, you can paint on it to make it a little more pretty. You can add a little twine bow or a ribbon or a little dried orange or something to give it that little like rustic feel. But it's just a great way to utilize something that would probably have just gone to the landfill anyways, and also prevents you from buying new gift wrap. So, and then for the little gift tags, I like to reuse holiday cards from the year before because, like, no offense, but I'm not keeping your holiday card. Like, it says happy holidays and that's pretty much it. And then maybe there's like a picture of you and your child. And while I love your child, I can't keep all your holiday cards. And so instead of throwing those away, I'll cut out some of the nice decoration parts of those cards and just use them as the gift tags, you know, to write like to, from, that kind of stuff. Oh, and then also clothespins. Those are nice. You can just clip it onto the gift. And then when the person opens it and it's done, you can just take it back and you use it again the next year. So also it adds to the rustic feeling, if that's the vibe that you're going for. Okay, we have reached our final category. There's no suspense because I already told you what it was in the beginning, but it's sustainable gift giving. Now, when I asked you guys on Instagram what kind of holiday content you wanted to see, the number one response was gift ideas, sustainable gift ideas, DIY gift ideas. You guys want gift ideas. I hear you. I'm also gonna let you in on a bit of a hot take. I hate gift guides. I hate reading them, and I also hate making them, and here's why. Almost every gift guide that you see on the internet, whether it's made by a publication or a blogger or a creator, almost all of them are pretty much made for affiliate commission. All they probably did was go look at their affiliate partners' websites, pick out some things that they thought could be good gifts, put it on their website in a listicle, and hope that you click on their link so that they get a bit of a commission. And so most gift guides I look at just feel a little bit icky to me. And I've made gift guides. I've made them in the past. And again, it felt a little bit icky to me. Like, affiliate stuff aside, just gift giving is my love language. Receiving gifts is my love language. So it's a very personal thing to me. And as a result, I just don't think I can properly advise you on what to give somebody because I don't know who you're buying a gift for. I don't know their interests. I don't know your inside jokes. I don't know their love language. Like, all of that goes into gift giving. And so I just don't feel like I can give you the recommendations you deserve, if that makes sense. So instead of giving you a gift guide, instead of just giving you random gift ideas, I'm gonna do two things. One, I'm gonna give you my tips for making gift giving more sustainable. And then two, I'm gonna tell you what is on my wish list as somebody who is into sustainability and wants to shop more consciously. And I'm also gonna tell you what I am thinking about getting other people. So hopefully that will be helpful, and please don't hate me for not providing you with a proper gift guide. So first tip for sustainable gift giving is to ask people what they want, because the most sustainable gift is something that somebody is actually gonna keep and use. And now I know what you're thinking, Morgan, the whole point of a gift is that it's a surprise. It's not fun if they know what they're getting. I hear you, but also, you know what's not fun? Opening a gift that you literally hate. So just weigh those two options, and I just think that knowing what you're getting is kind of lesser of two evils. But also, if you want to ensure that you're getting them something that they're going to use, but you also kind of want it to be a surprise, I do have two tips. First tip is to ask them for a category of things that they would want. So like they could say, I want some nice, comfy clothing. That narrows things down significantly. Now you can look at comfortable clothing, and the odds of them liking what you get them just got a lot higher, but they still don't know exactly what you're getting them. Second tip is to ask them what they under no circumstance would like to receive. So like for me, I do not want any kitchen items. My kitchen is full. If I open a cabinet, I don't know what's gonna fall out. So I do not want somebody to get me something kitchen related. Like if you as the gift giver know that, that helps you out a lot. Second tip is to start more sustainable gift giving traditions within your family or your friend group. So what does that mean? Well, maybe instead of just getting gifts for everybody, you guys decide to do a secret Santa. So you're all just buying one gift, which honestly, once the kids in the family are older, especially if you have a big extended family, I think that's a really good idea. Another option, you could all agree to thrift gifts or make gifts. I think coming to an agreement on that really levels the playing field for everybody, because sometimes in your family, if you know that people usually buy things new, like you don't want to give somebody a thrifted gift or give somebody a handmade gift, because sometimes it feels like, oh, like Morgan's a little cheap, like she got me a thrifted gift, and it's like, no, like I mean kind of, not really, not cheap, just I do like to save money and I do like to have less of an impact on the planet. But other people don't always see it that way, especially if they give you something new. So just talking about those like new traditions with your family and seeing how people respond, that can be a good way to just create more sustainable practices each year. All right, and now to what is on my wish list. So I'll caveat this by saying that I'm not asking for all of this stuff for Christmas this year. This is just stuff that it would be nice if I got it, and hopefully will provide some inspiration for you. Got it? Cool. All right, so first thing on my list is new bedding. I'm specifically asking for a new duvet cover from Magic Linen, which is a sustainable bedding brand. I actually asked for bedding last year as well. We got new pillows from Avocado. So slowly each year, I've kind of just been building a more luxurious sleeping experience for myself. I think bedding is just a nice thing to ask for around Christmas time. One, because you can usually get it on sale, and two, because it's definitely something you are going to get a lot of use out of since you hopefully sleep every night. Second thing on my list, reusable under eye patch things, the patches that like go under and they moisturize your eyes. I've used the single use ones before and they're really lovely, but they, you know, they're single use, so we want to avoid the waste. So I've seen these ones that you can reuse and just put whatever serum you want underneath it, and they look really delightful. So yeah, that's a smaller item that's on my list. Another idea I had is knitting materials. I've been saying I want to learn how to knit for the past like year and a half, and I have not made one little step towards making that a reality. So if somebody got me like everything I needed to start knitting, I think that would be a super cool gift, and then I could make more gifts out of that gift, so it's like the gift that keeps giving. It's like Inception, but for gifts, kind of. It's kind of not like Inception. Next thing on the list is perfume. The bottle that I have that I've had for like the past 8 years is almost out, so it is time for me to get a new perfume. And I've seen really good reviews about Le Labo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Honestly, I heard about it from Gabby Windy from The Bachelorette, and I just really love her. And I've never met her, but I imagine that she smells great. So when she mentioned it on podcast, I was like, what is this perfume brand? And I was like, ooh, it looks really nice, and it's cruelty free, and it's like made to order, which is awesome. But it is kind of expensive, so I have not bought it for myself yet. And I also shouldn't assume that somebody else would want to spend that much money on me, but like if they did, it'd be a really nice gift to get. Another idea, which I actually already have, but I think I would really like to receive as a gift if I didn't already have it, would be like a little photo printer, maybe like a little journal or scrapbook to go with it, because I really like the idea of printing out pictures and adding those into my journal, so that when I look at my journal, it's not just like a bunch of words. If I wasn't already into it and somebody got me that photo printer, I'd probably think it's really cool and be like, oh, I should do this. So I don't know, I just thought that was a good idea. Final kind of thing on my list, but like not really on my list, would just be like a really high quality piece of clothing. I think as a society, we've kind of been trained to not let ourselves spend a lot of money on clothing. Like we want to get things as cheaply as possible, and we've been manipulated to believe that that's how it should be by the fast fashion industry, but it's not. But it's a whole thing we have to learn, and it's, you know, it's, I could do a whole video on it. If your family is kind of like mine, where we just buy one real high quality gift for each other, we don't necessarily buy a lot of little things. Asking for like one really nice sweater or one really nice sweatshirt and sweatpants set could be a good option. Like I asked my mom to get me a Mate the Label set for my birthday this year, and I love it. Like a sweater or a coat from Cezanne would also be a really good option. Their clothing is really nice, sustainably made, good quality stuff that's gonna last a long time. So again, not really on my list for this year because I don't like other people to buy me clothing. I like to buy my own clothing, but if you're thinking about asking for clothing, that could be something to think about. All right, and now if you are my friend, my family member, my boyfriend, my dog, anybody who knows me, you have to stop watching now, because this is the part where I say what I'm planning to get get other people. So leave. If you're not leaving yet, this is your second chance. I'm gonna know that you're still there. I'm not gonna know, but you should feel guilty now at least. All right, so now that it's just me and hopefully a stranger on the other end of the screen, I can tell you what I'm planning to get other people. So for my sister, I'm probably gonna try to get her an experience gift because we don't get to spend as much time together as we used to when she lived here in the city. So I was thinking of either treating her to like a pottery painting evening where we go to like a studio, we can pick out a piece of pottery, paint it, they do whatever they do to make it shiny, and then we pick it up and then we have our own painted pottery. And it's just like a fun little thing you can do. You can bring wine, we can make a whole evening out of it, and maybe also have my mom come too, because I think that'd be nice for like the three of us to do together. Or getting her tickets to like some sort of comedy show or something. It would be like amazing to get some Taylor Swift tickets in Indianapolis for her. I have already gone with a friend, but I like really want to go again, and I think it'd be so much fun to go with my sister. So if anyone has a hookup to Indianapolis tickets, please let me know, but I don't think that one will happen, but I can dream. Last year, I actually got her some sustainable self-care stuff. I just got her a bunch of stuff from Lush, which I think that's a good option for somebody who, again, like doesn't really need anything or is just generally really busy. Like she texted me after I gave her all that and she was like, hey, like I really love the gift that you got me. It's nothing that I ever would have bought myself, but it's really reminded me and like forced me to kind of slow down a little bit and like take some time for myself. So if I don't do an experience gift, I might just get her more of that stuff again. And then for my parents, so I asked my mom what she wanted because that's what we do, and she said hiking boots for her and my dad because they're going to Arizona next year. They're going to be doing a little bit of hiking. They also did a little bit of hiking this year, and she's like, we could just really use like some proper footwear. So I'm probably just going to turn that into an experience gift where I treat them to lunch up here in Chicago, and then we like go to REI and they can try on some shoes because my mom's very picky, and I think she needs to pick out her own shoes, and my dad too. So that's probably what I'm going to do for them. But just in general, like something to think about if you don't know what to get somebody, like what trips do they have coming up in the new year that you could maybe get them something for, like hiking shoes or like a travel bag, something like that. That's just a good thing to think about if you're like stuck on what to get somebody. And then what I'm planning to get David, my boyfriend, I kind of don't know. I really pride myself on being a good gift giver, especially for him, but I'm struggling this year. Oh, I really hope he doesn't hear me. I'm gonna whisper a little bit. I'm kind of thinking I might get him a new chain. I bought him a new chain when we first started dating, like a silver one, like very understated and classy. And then that one broke a couple years ago and he's just been wearing it broken. And so I feel like he could use a new one that actually looks nice, and maybe get him like a gold one so that it's different. So that's what I'm kind of thinking for him. And that's really the only people that I get gifts for that aren't like just little secret Santa gifts. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about for this year. Hopefully that provides you with some sort of inspiration. I'll link some other brands and shops down below that are either like small businesses or more sustainable if you want to look through and browse for gifts and whatnot. Some of them will be affiliate links, so if you purchase through them, I will get a small commission, which I know that seems hypocritical after my whole rant about gift guides and affiliate links, but it's a little different, and also not all of them are affiliate links. I'm only an affiliate for a very few small amount of brands. That was a mouthful. I didn't need to say a few small, I just needed to say a few. And now this has become a much longer sentence than it needed to be. But all right, so yeah, I will link a bunch of things down below. I hope that this inspires you to have a little bit of a more eco-friendly holiday season. Again, use the tips you want to use. Don't use the ones that don't work for you. It's totally fine. But yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe so you can hang out with me more and see more videos. And I will see you next week with a holiday outfits video. Okay, bye.